Hey! Thank you for coming by Tory Magoo 44. It is May 29th. It's the end of May. It is amazing. It's almost the end of May. Soon we're going to have our next picket, which is in June. Please ask your friends, invite your friends. A lot of people, more people are coming to our pickets. And the anonymous people are doing fantastically. If you missed the video of John Carmichael in New York City, it's a classic. You have to go see it. It's over on inturbulation.org, but it is all-time amazing. Now, I'm going to tell you about the Scientology Parishioners League because someone asked me to please explain that, so I will. Okay, so I was in Scientology. I was in OT7, and it was in the year 2000. And the vice president of Scientology called me and said, Tory, and I was like a volunteer for OSA for 20 years, on and off, helping them handle different things, right? So she called me and she said, you know, we really need your help on something. Someone's going to start something that'll handle black PR, which is bad PR, on L. Ron Hubbard or Scientology in the media. And we basically just want you to come over and give us your advice, tips, whatever, because I'd worked in PR for a long time. Okay, so I go over with only the intention of I'm going to give them some tips, right? And the guy who had really thought of the idea was a writer, right, who had really done nothing on the PR lines. He had written some things, but he hadn't really actually been out on the front lines, right? So we're there at the meeting, and she says, well, why doesn't everybody tell what they've done, right, helping on the PR lines as far as this kind of thing? So I said, okay. So, you know, they all go around, and they've done a few things, and then I've done like 20 years of stuff, which, you know, it wasn't like really big, heavy stuff. It was me out talking to people, you know, asking them, why are you here, that kind of thing, calling up radio stations, that kind of thing. It wasn't any really big, heavy stuff, but it was a lot of stuff I had done over the years, and some things that they considered fantastic products for whatever reason. All right, so she says, okay, you're the executive director. And I'm like, I don't want to be the executive director. And she's like, no, we need you to be the executive director. You are the executive director. Now, she didn't know behind the scenes I had also been part of this top secret mafia that Bill Yachty, my auditor, had started that was trying to stop free speech on the internet. Now, I didn't know that either, and once I found out, soon after that I quit Scientology altogether because I didn't get into Scientology to stop free speech. But okay, so she doesn't know anything about that, and I know she doesn't because when we're on the internet looking at things, she'd given us little projects to do, and I would go to send it to her, and she'd say, well, you have to copy-paste it. We can't go on the internet. So I knew she didn't know what was going on at all as far as this was alt-religion Scientology with the top secret mafia where they were trying to stop ex-Scientologists from speaking about heavy things they didn't want known. Okay, so those two things. So now I'm the executive director, and she says your first product is A&E, which is a big TV station, is having a TV show on cults. And she shows us this like beginning thing that they're going to do, and it's got, you know, Jonestown and this and that, and in the middle is David Miscavige and the Church of Scientology as a cult, right? And she's like, all right, here's your job. Your first job, I want this off within 24 hours. That's it. Get it off. And we're like, we're public, you know what I mean? We're like, how are we? We're not attorneys. How are we going to get this off of a television station and a big TV station, right? And she said, no, just tell them they're religious bigots. Really push that button. They're religious bigots, right? And they'll do it. So we're like, all right. So we're on the internet typing, you know, you're religious bigots, and take that off. And we insist. And I'm calling them on the phone and all this stuff. And long story short, the next day in 24 hours, she calls me up and says, okay, get everybody and come on over here. Everybody was like 4 people, one of them being Joel Phillips, who is now the head of the Religious Freedom Watch hate page of Scientology, he says, where his name is basically in charge of it. I'm sure they're the ones running it, but they have him hung out to dry in case they ever get any legal issues. They'll say, it wasn't us, it was Joel, right? So why he's doing that, God knows, but, you know, whatever, he is. But he was my junior at the time. And so all of us are on there pounding about the religious freedom, bigotry, da-da-da-da, you know, the same stuff you guys hear, right? And 24 hours later, we all go over to Celebrity Center. She puts up the thing. Scientology's off of it. Now, whether they really had their attorneys in the behind the scenes pounding them, I have no idea. She said we got that product. Okay, so there's that. Next, we did a couple other little ones that had to do with newspaper articles, and we got them to take those off. And then the other big one was South Park had done this thing where they were going to, it was one of the award shows, and they were going to show a South Park skit with the guy wiping his ass with the Dianetics book. And pardon me if that offends anybody, but that's what they were doing in South Park, right? And so she said, you've got to get that off. Tell them that's our religious tenet and all this, which of course Dianetics is not religious at all. Hubbard even said it wasn't. You know, it's the science of the mind, right? But we're on the phone. This is our religious tenet. I'm trying to talk to the producers. They're like, she's in meetings. This is the day of the award ceremony, right? And I'm supposed to get it off that day. So I'm pounding. I'm on hold. I'm not leaving. And long story short, they did take off the Dianetics book and put in the personality test. So it was still really bad news for Scientology, but they took it as a win. Me, Tory, looked at it and thought, you know what, this is nuts. I am literally stopping people's free speech. They have a right to say whatever they want. I was raised by a father and mother who were like, everyone has a right to say what they want to say. You know, it's like everyone does. It's not like you do, but they don't. It's like everyone has a right to free speech in this country. So for me, it was like, what am I doing? And so that's when I got on the internet and started talking to the critics. I just kind of like stopped doing that and got on the internet, started talking to ARS. I was like fighting them, quote unquote. But I think back in my mind, I knew if I put myself in their world long enough, and I made 4,000 posts in 4 weeks, something would happen. And something did. And I ended up waking up, left Scientology forever. I think like a week before I left, I ran into her and she said, you know, you really need to get back on the Scientology Parishioners League thing. And I said, yeah, I know. But by then I was like, I said, you know, I'm working on this internet project, which this is how weird Scientology is. She just went, okay, that's fine. You know, just like, because they have this whole don't ask, don't tell. Like, she's in that room, don't ask her what's in the room. He's in that room, don't ask what's in that room. We know what's in this room, that's it. Do you see what I mean? And that's how they're already trained into that. So here's the vice president of Scientology, and I'm saying, well, I can't really do the Scientology Parishioners League right now because I'm on this other internet project, which was me talking with the critics, right? And waking up. So it was like unbelievable. But that's the Scientology Parishioners League. I guess when I left, I called up Joel and said, look, I'm leaving Scientology forever. You can run Scientology Parishioners League. And he went, you know, you're kidding, no way. And I said, no, yes way, it's happening, bye-bye. And that was it. So the next time I saw him, that was a whole nother story I'll tell you another time. But anyway, he ended up getting roped into this Religious Freedom Watch thing, which is a disaster. Because if history repeats itself, I mean, L. Ron Hubbard sent his wife to prison when they finally nailed the Guardian's office for the things that they said Hubbard would never do. Well, the Religious Freedom Watch is the same. It's really slander, libel, really bad things about a lot of people, self-included. And if there's ever any legal stuff, you know whose head's going to be hanging out there to dry, Joel. So don't say I didn't warn you. I've been warning you since 2000. Think about it, man. History does repeat itself, especially in that cult. All right, so there you go. And John Carmichael, you nailed it all together, man, saying, I smell pussy. I mean, what? That's the head of PR in New York? I smell pussy? That is disgusting that you would say that to anyone, especially these young people picketing. You are pathetic. And DM, if this is all you got, you have lost the game. You already have, but it's just fun to see it. It's like, whoa. You guys are so out to lunch. And way you go, Anonymous. Keep on going. Keep on doing what you're doing. I love all of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.